Welcome back in, everybody. We appreciate you being with us as always. We have our weekly recording. We are joined once again by Robertson Buyer, Shane Ratliff, and Corey. I am so sorry to even do this on air, but I'm going to do it on air. I can't remember your last name, man. So go ahead and tell me and the audience at the same time.
Yeah, my last name is Gray, man. Gray.
All right. Well, Corey Gray was out last week. He's back in. Austin was with us last week. Is off this week, so we missed Austin and his movie reviews, but we will get him back on in the very near future. We have a loaded show tonight. A lot of good stuff for you. Starting as always with NFL football, and we are going to quickly spread throughout the universe and talk about a lot of other cool things tonight. So, guys, are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. Shane, I'll let you lead off the show as you often do, not always. But tonight's leadoff question is out of these four or five teams, Bears, Commanders, Patriots, Giants, Vikings, besides your favorite, which team needs this draft the most? So we all know everybody wants to have a hot NFL draft, but out of those five teams, Shane, which one really needs to hit?
Like you said, I mean, not picking my team, Patriots, obviously, but I think the Commanders. It's a dynamic shift again. Cleared out another coaching staff, another starting quarterback. I think if you're the Bears, you've kind of had this mediocrity for a little while where it's been a difficult thing where they're already looking ahead to what their pick is. But I think the Commanders can really set the tone, both as a new GM and a new coach on which way they're going to go forward. And I mean, for them, Philadelphia, you got the Giants, you're in a tough, and Dallas, you're in a
Yeah,
tough division. So if you don't make hay on this draft,
yeah,
the question becomes, how long are you waiting for something to happen?
yeah.
Love it. Corey.
I agree with you on that Commanders take, but the team I chose was the Giants, kind of for similar reasons though. The front office is kind of in shambles, questions at coach, questions at QB, and then they kind of let Saquon Barkley go to their rival in the with the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think if they want to stay, relevant in the division, they're gonna have to get a really good draft this year because, like you said, with the Commanders, the East is getting harder. Dallas seems to be a constant contender. Eagles are a constant contender. And I think that not since what Eli Manning, Victor Cruz, OBJ, Brandon Jacobs, like Michael Strahan, who's the splash player for the Giants? And they just got rid of him. So I wonder how they're going to bounce back this year.
Great point, Corey. Robertson, I'm sure that you would pick the Commanders being your favorite team, but since we're disallowing that, who's up next?
Yeah, so I agree with both of you guys. I would say originally the Commanders, but I agree with Corey here. I'm going to say the Giants. And let's look at these other teams for a second. The Bears, they are kind of in a transition period right now. They know they're getting their quarterback. They're building through free agency. So if they win this year, yeah, it's good for this regime. But as long as Caleb Williams has a strong season and they are improving in certain areas, I don't necessarily think that this regime is in kind of, on the hot seat, right? You look at
Mm-hmm.
the Giants right now, they are in the hot seat. Corey, you mentioned it.
Yeah.
The front office is in shambles right now. Brian Dable went from being coach of the year candidate to now all of a sudden on the hot seat within the span of
Yeah.
365 days, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And then the Vikings, they're also kind of in that same kind of transition period where they have some pieces, but the quarterback is kind of, iffy right now. Hopefully they fill it this in this draft, but you got to wait for a rookie quarterback to develop. The Giants, I mean, they already want to get rid of this Daniel Jones contract. They want to get out from under him,
Mm-hmm.
but they're stuck with him right now because nobody's going to take him.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, I don't think the NFC East is getting better. I think it's getting weaker. I think the
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys are taking a step back. I think the Eagles, based on the retirements, the cap
Yeah.
hits, and everything like that, I think they're going to take another step back this season.
Mm-hmm.
I reserve the right to change that opinion, but I think just initially, I think they're going to take a step back. So this division is up for the taking. If the Giants have a strong draft, and
Mm-hmm.
if Dable can continue to try to take Jones back, if he can stay healthy, to take Jones back to a level he was playing 2 years ago, then potentially this could be a franchise changing draft for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think all five teams need it. If I get a vote tonight, I'm going to go ahead and give myself one. It'll be the Commanders, mainly for what Shane briefly mentioned, is that it's just been so long, man. I mean, it has been so long. These other teams have all pretty much, for the most part, I have to double check, done some kind of winning. But the Commanders, it has been a long freaking time, and if not, they'll win. So, I mean, everything is just kind of right for it. So I'll pick the Commanders. Let's move on quickly to one that I think this will be my favorite question of the night. We don't have a food question tonight, so I got to have a different favorite. That's this one. What is your least favorite team in the NFL? Or if you want to rephrase it, what team in the NFL do you just absolutely hate, can't stand? If you got rid of them, you would not miss them at all. However you want to phrase it. Shane, you're up first.
Yeah, so for me, I didn't have one that I like hate, not a mortal enemy, but one that I've just never cared about other than Pat Tillman and Jake the Snake is the Arizona Cardinals. If they cease to exist, I wouldn't even think twice about it. And the problem is like, you'll get something flashy in Arizona and then nothing happens. And then you have to recycle everything again. And I've never had something that's pulled that in. I think they've made some terrible drafts in their time. And so when you don't have that, you don't have anything to pull in them. I'm an East Coaster too. So, I mean, Arizona is the one that like I said, no mortal enemy, but I just don't think about them.
Yeah.
I'll come back to Arizona later. Corey, what you got on this one, man? I got a feeling, I think I know, but I want to hear you say it.
Yo, I cannot stand the Saints, man.
Yep.
I actually like the Saints, and look, I started to say the Patriots too, because for reasons, but I'm going with the Saints because of a little bit longer hatred for them. So basically, the reason why is they always in the way for me. Like they're always in the way for me. Like, and then I'll never forget the game when they had the first game back after Katrina, and the first quarter they had that blunt for a touchdown. I was like, that is just. It just seemed it was almost one of those like, who's behind that? That just seemed too perfect. Like it just seemed too good for them. And I know it was a lot going on for them. So I tried to be too hateful. However, it's the Saints, and we got skunked. It was just a bad game, and it's just the Saints all the way around. Can't stand them. I wish them no success.
You are by and far away the person that I know who hates the Saints the most. I've never even met anybody else who hates the Saints. So you're as far away the leader as that.
I can't stand them, and it's a very slim crew. It's like it's not too many because like
Robertson, you're in a division where everybody hates everybody. So I'm curious to see which one team you pick.
So this is kind of tough, mainly because like the Cowboy fans are annoying, but the Eagles fans, I mean, they're just another level of just awful, right? But obviously, I'm going to pick the Cowboys here. I mean, they're just insufferable year in, year out.
Yo,
they could have Nathan Peterman as their starting quarterback. They're like, oh, we're going to win it all this year. It's like, you guys are just absolutely off your rocker on this one. So yeah, I would not care if they just completely left the entire NFL. I would not care. They'd still find a way, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure they would. Yeah. I don't have any team that I hate anymore because I don't have a passionate team of my own. But the Cardinals fall right into the category that Shane mentioned. If they just disappeared, I wouldn't miss them. And it's not, I don't have any problem with their color, their uniform, their stadium, their team, their players, their owner, nothing. I have no problem with any of it. It's just they've never made an impression on me. And if they disappeared, I wouldn't notice. So, give the team to somebody else. I might have more emotion about it. So the Cardinals are my team.
The best thing about Arizona was Larry Fitzgerald.
Yes, absolutely.
I think he's the best thing for them.
Mr. Hands. Yep. All right, so we've got a little bit of business to do live on the show tonight because all of us are busy. We do this fast. I mean, for those of you in the audience who don't know, we come in, we talk for like 3 minutes, we knock out the show, and then we are gone. We do not hang around. So we are all busy. We haven't had a chance to name the show yet. So tonight, we're going to take nominations for show names from everybody here on the panel. And those of you listening in the audience, if you're watching and you've got an idea for a show name, we would love for you to send it in. All right. You can send it in on the comments on the YouTube video. You can also, and I don't have it posted tonight, but the X handle at BenPark79. You can send it in there. We would love to at least hear what you got to say, if we don't pick your name. So we'd love to hear it. Shane, what you got?
So this is probably the hardest question that I've had in this podcast, Ben. So I put some thought into it. You kind of hit on it. We're all hustlers. So I thought hustle and no, because we hustle through the show. And by the time it's over, I feel like if you tuned in, you learned a little bit something else. So hustle and no for me.
I like that.
I like that. I was not expecting that, actually. I was expecting a few other things, a few other directions. So I like that. All right.
Like I said,
Corey, what you got?
This put a shock on me. This was a tough one.
That was good.
Corey, what you got, man?
Man, mine is real basic, man. Because I'm not sure. I know and then we're not even talking about the third thing I got listed. I put sports, movies, and food.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
We're not doing food tonight, but I just know that's some of the topics that we talk about that just kind of get everybody more activated, especially when we get the movie reviews and we talk about stuff like that. So that was it's basic, but I think hustling no is kind of tough, man. I ain't gonna lie.
I like that
That's
one
tough.
too. I think I know what Robertson's going to say because me and him have talked about this over the past 2 or 3 weeks, but I don't know if he's changed his mind or not. Robertson.
So if I'm allowed, if the panel allows, I'd like to submit two because the one that me and Ben
Okay.
talked about, and then so we don't have a name for it. Like that's literally just the name of the show.
That's
We
it.
don't have a name for it
Hey, that's kind of
because
fire too, though.
we don't have
I
a name
kind of
for it.
like that.
And then one that I thought about, it's like, okay, this might be a little bit more serious. It kind of goes with the theme of the show, 30 minutes or less.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm. Got that guy give him that delivery. Ah,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah, yeah.
those
30
are
minutes
tough,
or
man.
less.
Those are tough.
Yeah, and my
That's a good
original
one.
concept for this, again, because of the sake of time, was Sands of Time, which that
Mm.
kind of brings back some historical stuff. But
Yeah,
our show seems to be going in a different way. Those of you listening to the audience, if you've got an idea, if you've watched this show and you've got some names that you want to throw out there, by all means, hit us up. We will call them out live on air next week. So if you want your 15 seconds of fame, next week is the week to get it. By all means, hit us up in the comments and we'll jump on it. All right. It's time for another 10, 5, and 1 segment, which I'm going to point real quickly to the scoreboard, but you probably can't read, and that's okay. I'll tell you what it is. Shane's up to $50. We all started at 50, so he went aggressive, lost 10, gained 10 last week. I went very slow the first week, and then hit on Dawn Staley last week, and I'm up to 55. Austin's down to 40. Corey's at 40. We're going to start Robertson off tonight at 40 as just wherever the low mark is. So that's kind of the leaderboard here. We're going to run this basically all the way through. I think we're looking at April, May, June, something like that. We'll run it through mid-June, late June, something like that, and see what we can all do. The question for the night is one that is way, I'm sure, out of most of our bounds. So I'm curious to see if anybody's got anything real on it other than just ha ha, funny, funny, which is all I've got tonight. Okay. Just to let y'all know. The question is 10, 5, and 1. This is a mouthful, y'all, so hang on. We want the Writers Guild Award winner for original screenplay. So the Writers Guild Awards come up this Sunday, April 14th. The Writers Guild Award winner for original screenplay, and the candidates are Barbie, Air, The Holdovers, May December, or Past Lives. So I'm just going to own it up and say I actually haven't seen any of these 5 movies. I kind of feel like I've seen the Barbie movie because I saw the previews for weeks and weeks and weeks. But other than that, I haven't seen these movies, and I would pick one tonight too. Shane, you're up first, man.
I mean, this is another tough one, Ben, and I feel like of all the weeks not to have Austin here to just give us a breakdown
I
and tell
know,
us
yes.
some out there B movie that we need to pull together, but I'm gonna go with Air. I mean, it was a story I already knew about, but I thought that was pretty decent. I feel like it's not going to be the real winner. So on this one, I'm going to go low for $5. I normally like to go big, but like I said, this is definitely out of my comfort zone. I'm not a movie aficionado by any stretch of the imagination.
All right. I like that one. I like the reasoning. Corey, do you have anything more in depth than what I'm bringing to the table tonight, man?
I mean, I got a little something, man. I got a little something,
Okay.
but
All right.
it's a good question, and I'm going Barbie on this one, man. I'm going Barbie because I was a skeptic. I also felt like, okay, I'm not sure how it's going to play out, but I know I love what's my girl name, Margot Robbie, when she was Harley Quinn, and like her versatility as an actress is impressive. She plays a lot of different roles, and the movie itself touched on like a lot of societal issues. Like the movie touched a lot on like how how gender roles are perceived, how people interact with each other, or what is your true destiny, or how you're supposed to live your life. Like all that stuff is up to you. Like a lot of existentialism in that movie, and I thought that was kind of a lot of self-awareness, breaking out of boxes type of stuff. I thought that was pretty good. And then the shout out to there's a character called Weird Barbie. And I thought she was hilarious because she's the Barbie that's always like split and messed up. The hair's pulled out. She's drawn on with crayons and stuff. I thought I had this, you know how it is with, you know how it is. They all when you got kids or you had sisters in your life, they tear them poor little Barbies up, man.
Oh
so
my
I,
gosh.
so I, so I thought that character was pretty funny by who's it, Kate McKinnon. So I kind of went left with this one, and I'm going Barbie. It took the world by storm. I'm gonna put $10 on that.
Oh, heavy $10, man. I like it. Good in-depth stuff there. I really didn't know if any of us would have anything. So good in-depth stuff there. Quick tangent. So we've got a sister, Rachel, who actually listens to this show quite often. Shout out to Rachel. Way back in the day when she was a little Rachel, she used to like to give the Barbies haircut. So not just her Barbies, but any of the four sisters' Barbies, they would get haircuts. Of course, they'd be hidden under the bed because she didn't have permission to do that. Of course, the hair didn't grow back, so you'd have the
Right.
bald Barbie and the short Barbie and the kind of short Barbie.
All
but they
messed
were
up.
what they were. Yes, all in one. All right, Robertson, what you got?
I don't really have much of an opinion on this one, but Corey like pretty much said everything that I didn't need to say. I'm going Barbie here. Reasons for me, other than what Corey said, I guess, is just it's winning pretty much everything else. So why not this too? I'll put
Mhm.
$10 on it. I mean, not that I'm gonna go big on this. I'm pretty conservative with my bets, as you know, Ben, but I'm pretty confident Barbie's gonna take this one.
All right, I love it. I'm going to go in a totally different direction. I'm going to go with May December, but I'm only going to put $1 on it, so that's going to be where I'm going to go for tonight. May December, just to be different, really. So I've got the lead too, so I'm very conservative.
Trying
I
to keep
lose
the
the
lead.
lead.
I'm trying to
Yes.
catch up.
All right, this is my second favorite question of the night. Okay, and we have done nothing like this so far on this show. I've got more of this coming later as we get through the summer. For some reason, you were gifted $40,000, okay, from your wife who loved you, or your parents who love you, or some, long lost eccentric uncle that you didn't know existed who passed away. But you got $40,000 sitting in your bank account. The only stipulation is you have to buy a truck with it. You can't do anything else. You have to buy a truck with it. So if you've got $40,000, what kind of truck are you getting, Shane?
So I do have a truck. It's under $40,000, and it's a Chevy Colorado.
Okay.
Like the Colorado, uh, but since I already have one, I figured I had to use 40,000 for something else, and I thought the Ford Hybrid Mavericks. Uh, those are interesting to me. The silent run for the hybrid. I mean, I live in the middle of nowhere, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. But if I
Mm-hmm.
just had 40,000, you're making me pick a truck. Any of the ones that I would really like are well above 40,000. So
Okay,
I
yes.
kind of cut the difference on that.
All right. Well, keep in mind, whatever the more expensive truck is, we might give you a little bit more money in a few weeks to see what you do with it. Okay.
So,
All right, Corey, what kind of truck you getting, man?
Man, that was a good. Hey, that was a tough one too because I was like, at first I was like, well, I know the truck, the dream truck is way too expensive. Like, ain't nah. So I was like, well, 40,000. I just got like maybe like a Ford or like a Chevy, something with some power, something with some style, something versatile, is good at hauling like whatever I may need. And then I just thought about it. Well, if I got $40,000 and I want to make sure it's already paid for, like I don't have to have payments on it. And I kind of wanted to be like maybe a refurbished old school kind of truck, like an old school like granddaddy style truck, but like souped up though, like
Oh
just
yeah,
candy paint, like just souped all the way up, just something I don't even take out often, just a toy type thing. I would do something like that.
I like it, man. Robertson, what you got?
So I'm going kind of Corey's route here to an extent. Like if I need a truck for like absolute like utility, I'm gonna get like an old diesel truck, like a Silverado or a Sierra or something like that with the Duramax diesel in there. Those things can run for, hundreds
Mhm.
of thousands of miles, and you can get one even with 150,000 miles. That's not even half life, really, if you take care of
Mhm.
it. So I would go that route, or if I have to pick new, I'm gonna go with Tacoma. I mean, they're reliable. They're not flashy or anything like that, but they get the job done. You can still get a 6 foot bed with it. I'm taking
Mhm.
it Tacoma if I gotta buy new.
All right, I like all y'all's. I like mine better. I'm going to fudge on the price a little bit here, and I know that, but I'm going to cheat just a little bit. If I got a choice, I'm going to go old school here with a 1948 red Ford truck, man. I love those styles. I love that color. And I love the fact that it's from way back in the day and it looks like something out of a history book, man, when vehicles just look different. So that's what I'm going to go with. I might have to buy one and then fix it up a little bit more later because the 40K may not get me the full refurbished truck, right? But that's where I'm going to go. The 1948 red Ford pickup truck. I've seen pictures of it all over the internet, and I absolutely love that. So that'll be
Old
my
school,
weekend
man.
vehicle right there. Yeah, that's the one I'm going to drag
Mhm.
out on Saturdays and Sundays.
That might be a Southern thing, man. When they pull out all the old school cars and just drive around on Sunday, I think is that just do they do
Yeah,
that anywhere else? When
I
they
don't know,
They
man.
do it
Shane, do they
here.
do it up north? Okay.
how they
Yeah,
do?
they do it here.
Well, the paint job doesn't stick when you live this far north. There's too much salt and everything. So you
Oh,
keep those
true.
nice vehicles in the garage until the like 1 month of sunshine that you get up here.
Yeah, okay, okay. That's what's up.
All right. We are down to now our final 60 seconds of the evening. Whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to give attention to, credit to, shame to, whatever. Shane, give it to us.
So I went kind of two parts with my 60s. So first, my little small town was in the totality of the eclipse. So we
Mm.
got a bunch of people that
Mm.
came up that made it a much smaller uh, situation, but a much bigger town for a very short period of time. And then when I thought about totality, uh, both NCAA tournaments ended up ending the way that we kind of thought they would. But UConn and Danny Hurley, I'd watch out for them for as long as he decides he wants to stick at UConn. With Kentucky and Calipari moving, you can see some power moves already happening inside the NCAA. But Danny Hurley, both offensively and defensively, that team just played outstanding. So my 60 seconds would go to the eclipse and the blackout that UConn put on the tournament this year.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a great point because the last couple of little dynasties we've seen in college basketball, which was Florida like 15 years ago, it was the
Yeah,
exact same set of players. And then when
yeah.
it was Duke way back in the early 90s, it was
Mm-hmm.
almost the exact same set of
Mhm.
players. UConn did it with two different sets of players, basically, switched out half the team. So who's to say Danny can't keep doing this if he wants to stick it out there? You know, if other
Mhm.
bigger schools don't tempt him
Mm-hmm.
with more, more money,
Yeah,
more
Exactly.
opportunity.
and completely changed the offense that he ran just a
Mm.
year ago. I mean, when you
Mhm.
see them offense, I always any Hurley team is going to play tough defense. That's the way their father raised them. But really changed the offensive round and prove that he can slide parts in and out of that offense.
Mhm.
I'd watch out for UConn for years to come.
Yeah, I totally agree. Corey.
Man, for the 60 seconds of fun, man, I'm just gonna review some of the spring break activity, man. You know, I took the family down to Hilton Head. If you guys love a good like
Mm.
vacant area, you know, private area, you know, get a little resort hotel, you know, get access to the beach, access to the pool, you know, there's a little bar at the pool, just hang out with the kids and the, you know, went to the jacuzzi, man, ate all kind of food, man. I'm talking like
Mm.
seafood pasta, crab, eating all you know, hey, all the good stuff, man. Ate all the good stuff, had all the good drinks, you know, just an overall good time. The kids deserve a break. We deserve a break. You know, it was a lot of fun. The ride wasn't too bad. So I just say that to say, like, take time to, you know, enjoy life, you know, take vacations, you know, whether it's a week or a weekend, go do something either with people you love or you can do it by yourself, but go somewhere else and then be a tourist for a while, be well traveled. I think that's fun, man. That's always fun. I mean, you get to meet people, you get to discover new things. Man, you can't beat it. That's so I say for my 60 seconds of fun, go out there and have some fun, man.
That's sweet. That's awesome. I love it. I got to say though, Corey over there hobnobbing with some of the elite people. Because for those of you who don't know, you're not in the South Carolina area. The Hilton Head version is where you go if you can. Everybody else, all the rest of us go to Myrtle. So I'm heading to Myrtle Beach here in a few weeks where we're going to have a really good time. But it
Mm-hmm.
ain't hobnobbing with the elite the way Corey's doing over there. So you know,
It was my first time, man. I'm probably going back though.
okay, all right, yeah, yeah. I don't blame it. Sounds good. It sounds
Mhm.
nice. All right, Robert. So go ahead, man.
All right, so we just heard, I believe it was this past week that uh, the city of Kansas City is not going to be really investing much into Arrowhead. Like they
Mm,
denied, I think it was $500
Oh,
million worth of upgrades.
mm-mm.
So,
the
uh,
players are gonna put it up.
So yeah, or Taylor Swift could just pay for it like
Hey,
with
hey,
cash
there's some money over there
after.
somewhere.
Yeah, like I mean that could happen. But what was interesting about that whole thing, but despite the risk of Kansas City Chiefs, arguably the most popular team in the NFL right now, moving, is that the Dallas mayor said that, hey, Dallas can support two teams. And I would just find that hilarious because,
Oh,
as you know,
Hmm.
the Cowboys are like
oh
my
my
most
goodness.
hated team. So how hilarious would that be that not only do Kansas City Chiefs and
Move to
Cowboys share
80.
a time slot, the 4:15 time slot, like 9 times out of 10, they also playing in the same city, and I think that would just be absolutely hysterical.
A lot of them gonna switch sides. They're gonna switch sides real quick. They
Not
like,
Yeah, and not that this would ever happen, right? Like I don't see this happening, but just think how hilarious that would be. Like
that is fun to think about.
the Dallas Chiefs and like how like
Yeah.
like Jerry Jones would at least in the immediate future, right? Like he would lose so much, and it would I would love it.
Yo, they should
Yeah.
you just oh man. So Dallas is still there, and then you have the Kansas City Chiefs moving in.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I feel like they could run with that so many ways in Texas. Like they could have like especially with like rivalry week and like it could be a lot with that.
A
That's
lot
fun to
going
think
on there.
about.
I feel
Yeah.
the Cowboy hate oozing through the screen right now.
Yo,
I honestly don't think that like out of all the cities that could support an NFL team right now, I don't think a second one is necessarily needed in Dallas, right? Like,
I
I mean,
wouldn't
I'm
take
sure there's a
that
lot of Chiefs hate out there right now for the fans and all that. So like, do we really need Dallas to be like the most hated sports city like
ever.
in yeah, ever? Like, I mean,
Because then they're gonna claim all those championships that the
yeah.
Chiefs got, and then
Uh-huh.
once they now all of a sudden we're a dynasty. It's like y'all not. I look see the hypotheticals take me too
Yeah.
far.
The sharing of AT&T Stadium, like okay, the JV squad just finished playing. Now we get to see like the real football players play. Like that would be, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
funny.
I'm up for it, man. You know, I like a little bit of chaos mixed in. So my final 60 for the night, I'm gonna give another shout out to Dawn Staley. Listen, right here in our backyard, me and Cora's backyard, a couple hours away. She's already been there. This is not a new thing for her, but just once again, a stamp on her greatness over there in college basketball.
Yes,
When she started this thing, it was Connecticut and it was Connecticut only. There
that
was
was it.
nobody else around. I mean, Connecticut
That's
was
true.
stomping everybody. And
It was
she
like
got them
82 and
up
0 or
to,
something.
it was crazy, yes. She got them up there to where Connecticut is, and now because Connecticut has slid a little bit, she's ahead of Connecticut. So she's doing
Mm-hmm.
it. She's won. I may get these stats wrong, but the point is she's winning a lot. She's won 3 national titles now. Excuse me, 2 of the last 3. Last year, when she didn't win it, she was undefeated and lost
Mm-hmm.
in the Final Four. She's been to 4 straight Final Fours. Basically, she's a number 1 seed every single year. There was a COVID
Mm-hmm.
year in which they were the number 1 team overall and crushing
Mm-hmm.
everybody. They didn't even
Yeah.
play, so she might have picked up another title then. She is absolutely killing it. So hats off to Dawn Staley for
Mm-hmm.
just doing things at a program that had never been done before. When she got
Yeah.
there, this program was really, nationally just hadn't done anything hardly ever, with the
Mm-hmm.
exception of a couple of seasons. So hats off to Dawn Staley and the entire basketball program. All right, that's it. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget, check out the Tricky Takes podcast. Check out some of my other stuff on this same YouTube channel. Check out the Simon Short and Friends podcast. We're adding a couple of other podcasts in as well. Check out the Odds on Favorite podcast, all sorts of things. We have another guest coming in next week that I've told nobody about, be his first time on as well. If you want to be on this show, hit us up. Or if you know somebody who's just kind of been sitting quiet on the sidelines for years thinking, hey, that's a really good person to be on the show, tell them to get over here and we will be glad to have them on. Have a great one. We've enjoyed it, everybody. Everybody say goodbye.
All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy.